More now on the Russia investigation and a report by the New York Times that the special counsel Robert Mueller's team has subpoenaed the Trump Organization, demanding documents related to Russia and otherwise. Bob Bianchi is here. He's a defense attorney, former federal prosecutor, dealt with many cases involving the FBI and federal prosecutors. It was for the president who once said that would be a red line in his estimation, but what Robert Mueller does, I guess, is up to him.
Yeah, and it's going to be harder and harder for President Trump to argue against this when the FBI is coming up with regard to issues that have led to sanctions. They're coming up with indictments. There's productivity and fruit coming from the Mueller investigation. So what are you going to do now when he says, I need these documents? And you know, sometimes, Shep, as prosecutors, sometimes we get them so that we can pass the straight face test when we say somebody's innocent of something. But I think that they're really looking into some nefarious connections here between someone in the Trump Organization and all of these data points going on with Russia.
When you look at the big picture here, is there something you can point to as a suggestion for why it is that Mueller might want these documents at this time?
I think that they actually waited longer than they typically do, and I think that's a strategic and tactical reason. As a head prosecutor,
how do you mean?
Yeah, as a head prosecutor myself, when I was appointed, I didn't have any interference with the political system in anything that it was that I did. But if I were to feel that my job was at jeopardy, which it couldn't be because I was a constitutionally protected officer, but Mueller is not, then I would be going to the Trump Organization second, doing the obstruction case first, because then I don't have to telegraph that I'm looking into your organization, looking for the finances. I think it was a brilliant move to wait to do that so that he could protect himself, insulate himself and his people from being fired or having Rosenstein or somebody else fire him down the road.
Is there a recourse legally through the system for the president to deny Robert Mueller those documents, or the president's team?
This is virtually black letter law. It's an organization that has no Fifth Amendment right not to produce these records. These records will be produced, there's no question about it. And Shep, one thing that I find really interesting going on here with the timing, with the Stormy Daniels thing, and I know that I may be a little bit of a lone voice with this, but who knows what's in those organizational emails? You saw that the lawyer was using Trump Organization emails to conduct private business that was outside.
If true, that is quite surprising.
If true, what else is out there? And this may be the reason Mueller and his people want to know. I'm not saying it's true, but they may want to know, wow, is there other compromise here? Is there other information, other payoffs? Is there something that's happening where the president, with his soft position on Russia, is that way for a reason? And that's what they're going to be looking into.
A lawyer understands the ramifications of what he or she is saying at any given moment, or should, at least through the legal system. And when the lawyer said this morning over on Morning Joe, the lawyer said to Mika Brzezinski that there was physical harm that was threatened, legally speaking and legally only, if you threaten physical harm against someone for speaking out while you have a non-disclosure agreement, how would you consider that to be?
Well, that would be a state law crime. There's no question about it. It may vitiate or eliminate the NDA in some way, shape, or form. We don't know whether or not that threat happened prior, during the execution.
And we don't even know if it happened. We just know the lawyer says it happened.
And we know a lawyer said that it happened.
But if the lawyer said something like that happened and it didn't, that would be an enormous violation.
This lawyer strikes me as being very precise with his words and very, very confident in that aspect of what he said.
Well, it's a disturbing thing to hear. You know, a threat of physical harm is, you know, if true, I guess the legal system will deal with it.
Well, I have a question, Shep. If Russia can go into the DNC emails, can go into the Podesta emails, if it can go into our nuclear grids, is it possible that they knew about this too?
It's a good question. We'll be right back.